Reflecting back on the memories, there's so many of my childhood photos generally are either in front of the boat, behind the boat, in the boat, or on the beach next to the boat. When I was really young, I was up on the veranda looking down, and Dad had about a 14-foot aluminium, I'm sure it was a Clark back then, and Dad had a whole crate full of crabs. That was probably the point where I went, well, put two and two together. To catch the crabs, you sort of had to have the boat.
Allure of boating, it's just something that gets in your blood, and it's probably one of the most relaxing things I think that you can ever do. My very early boating days in New Zealand revolved largely around Hamilton jet boats. Bill Hamilton was a relative, and we used to visit him on his dam when he was testing the jet boats very, very early in the piece.
Not only was I fortunate enough to have a father that enjoyed and had a passion for boating, but I was also really lucky to have an uncle that really valued those family times with boating and inviting myself and my brother out.
A couple of mates and myself built a tin canoe out of roofing iron. We bent it, used tar to seal it and that, and got a broomstick. There was a little bit of canvas. We made a type of sail, and were so delighted we didn't have to paddle that we sailed.
Boating's just more than owning something that floats, you know. It's family, it's friends, it's social, it's activities, it's responsibility for children especially, it's learning about the environment. There's just so many facets to the word boating. Even
after I retired, I suppose, the window and willows still hung outside the door. It spelt the message very well in the poem.
I'm gonna be happy, how could I not? Sitting in my little canoe. When I
don't regret ever going into the boating business. I left a good job as a commercial traveller. I joined a partnership with Peter Usinski.
John Crawford and John Russell have been stalwarts in our industry. They're still stalwarts in our industry today.
John Crawford had this wonderful thing of he would take on any agency so long as he could have it exclusive for Australia, for the world.
The agencies sort of kicked it off nicely, especially the Hobie Cat.
We look back to the history, you know, 50s and 60s and 70s and boat building, and fundamentally we went through this massive transition period of, you know, boats were made of timber and the craftsmanship, and then this plastic arrived called fiberglass, and then how that was brought into the industry, you know, and it really transformed boat building and put timber boats on their ear there for quite a while. And there's people who still appreciate the timber boats as we do, but fiberglass has really taken hold. Then the ability to manipulate aluminium sheet. And now we look at it, you know, 50 years on from JCM's perspective, and now we've still got timber, in a minority, we've still got aluminium, which is just very popular, and fiberglass is out there in many shapes and forms.
The boats on the river go sailing by, and the boats on the river go sailing by. The boats on the river go sailing by. Boats on the river go sailing by.
When I first started with John said to me, "George, never be frightened to make a decision for me." He said, "If you make 10 decisions and 9 good ones and 1 bad one, it's a hell of a lot better than never making a decision."
He said, "We are not fly-by-nighters." He said, "We're here to stay." We've proved that right.
The people that we meet, the boating stories that you hear, amazing. It's such a good feeling watching someone, you know, they're so excited about picking their boat up and their family, and everyone gets on board, and the kids are like, "We're going fishing," and so forth. I mean, to be able to help make someone's day or make someone's dream come true, it's a pretty good feeling.
I've always had a passion for boats and the marine world, and I was fortunate enough to come along 4 years ago and get a job here that feeds my passion.
If you don't have that passion for your business, how else will 2014 mark our 50th year? It's famously said with Chris Conroy, What other pastime can you bring the whole family together? Grandma, granddad, you know, mum and dad, uncles and kids.
And it goes in so many different directions: sailing, powerboating, fishing, kayaking. I mean, there's so many aspects of the marine industry, and we've pretty well been involved in most of them and really enjoyed it.